Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good evening. Now we are going to do task 1, the title on social networking, right?
Yes.
Public shaming as a form of justice on social networking is unethical. So, what is your view? First of all, I'll introduce our group member. My name is Hamidah binti Harun, 192921.
My name is Tracy N. My matrix number is 192730.
My name is Noraini binti Muhammad Jamail. My matric number is 192724.
My name is Vishali Anna Prabha Kumaran. My matric number is 194428.
My name is Ashraf Safwan Musaleh. My metric number is 192237.
So shall we start?
Yes.
Okay. The public shaming as a form of justice on social networking is unethical. From my point of view, I agree with the statement, because when the shaming goes viral and then marks the person both online and offline potentially forever, it's some sort of cyberbullying for the person that got shamed. Usually when the shaming goes, it affects the person who being shamed, and it's not really affect the person who shaming the one. Okay, what about you, Tracy?
I strongly agree that public shaming is unethical. Just like how you said, I'd like to support your points, where in this case we can bring an example of a teenager. Because when one of the teenager gets public shaming, this will actually cause their psychology to be affected, where they might face depression, suicidal thoughts, mental problem, and a very strong kind of distress. So this can be proven through a Jezebel report, where there is a case where a father have a public shamed his own daughter for transgression. So where he actually chopped off her long hair as a punishment so that she wouldn't do such thing. But that thing have affected his own daughter for her to come up with a suicidal thought, and she has suicided. So this is totally unethical, and public shaming must not be done.
I agree with you, Tracy. Public shaming should not be done by anyone, because it's really not ethical. And some see that public shaming is a way of justice and equity, but actually it is not. It's just ruining up someone's life. So, for example, if you are shame, you are giving bad when you are saying something bad about someone in social media, it just affects that person. Not only that person, it may be the whole family. So, and not only that, the people surrounding will start to have negative thoughts on that person. So, if it's affected by inside psychological way, they might have take a very serious action. Maybe it can make them to take the decision to take a suicide. So I would like to give another example. I couldn't say that it's an example, but it also had happened at South Korea. In June 5, 2005, there's a young woman with her small dog boarded a subway in Seoul. Then in the way of journey, suddenly the dog defecated, and she don't want to clean it up. And when the people surrounding her voiced out, asked her to clean up the pieces, she was like not responding properly, and she just ignored it. So there's a one person took picture and goes and put it in the social network. Just in a few minutes, they can get a lot of information, especially personal information about her. and people started to send hating in emails and then giving bad comments on her, and led her to take very kind of negative no led her to take a very serious action, which is out of this humiliation. She had to just stop going to university. She had to drop out her studies. So you just imagine, just within you are just because of the simple action that she didn't do, but she have to the long term of effect, which is she don't get a proper education. So actually this this public shaming really affect the one who becoming victim. That's my point.
Yeah, I would like to add on also to you, and I do strongly agree with you. As you said, just like in that case that you told, right? So on this thing, we can obviously see when such thing humiliates a person or the particular offender, this will cause the public to dissociate them. Just like how she said, not only the public dissociate her, that particular person, but she herself will dissociate her from the public. Like how we say not attending the university or going somewhere out, because this totally makes her to feel really affected, and as you say, like leaving her, making others to know her personal information, right? So that actually emphasize on like leaving a digital footprint of herself. So in future, this will actually affect her on losing her job, or maybe even making it harder for her to get hired by a particular company. So
yeah, I agree that public shaming is unethical because when you humiliate or make someone viral on the social media, I think it is unnecessary because you make someone famous with no good reason.
true.
So if we as a netizen just obviously post or make some tweet or status about the person because you had him or her, so I think it may label them as a negative, it's such a person that have a negative vibes in our surrounding. So it might cause them to think that they don't have to behave or to change because we had him or her, so we just he or she thought that we support the action that she or he do. So I think the better way is not the public shaming. So that's another way to change the attitude.
I agree with all of you that public shaming is a form of justice in social network. It is unethical because, like as you all said, when it may involve the person's family to be disgraced, and it not being able to then walk out of their house and comfort zone. For an example, if the daughter or son made a mistake, and people posted about them in social medias, and it become viral. So when it become viral, the parents and the family like being ashamed. So like when they walk out of the house, or like when the public or the relative or like friends, anyone, they see them, means they will talk bad about them behind them, and they bad about them behind them, and because of that particular person, the whole family has to be disgraced, and they couldn't make any move after that. And there's an example where because of that particular person, the whole family member even suicide.
I want to add on Vishali point. Okay, when a public shaming occur, it doesn't offer those who are ashamed the ability to either explain themselves or redeem themselves. Like we said before, when the statement or status goes viral, the basically public shaming is something negative, right?
Yes.
So when it goes viral, when someone or the particular person want to apologize or want to explain the situation, it does not it does not make any sense, right? And it do not viral like the public shaming. I give an example. A teenagers married other's husband. So people keep talking. This girl is taking but the girls keep saying that they were divorced. The husband and the wife was divorced. But no one want to hear. The thing that people want to know is the girl is a bad girl taking others' husband, but they don't actually know that they were divorced and got problems in their marriage. Some sort of thing like that.
I agree with you, Mida. And then like when we post about the particular person in an unethical way, for an example, you are having a fight with the guy, and then like that guy went and post about you. So like when you walk out from the out in the street or somewhere, there might be someone else who it's like they criticize you, and they might also attack you. Like how to it's like
They mock you as
they also had a fight with you, and then like because of that person post, like this person also had a bad impression on you, right? So like that's why they might.
So it means that other person who will be the enemy of that person.
So
they will take
this is as a chance to attack them.
So it will be kind of if anything happens, it won't
affect them, but then they will blame the person who posted bad about that person.
I got you. And we have to. I would like to give another. I would like to give this bad or not bad effects on public shaming. We cannot we should not forget that social network is not only used by adults. It's also used by this growing child. So if they always used to see so many posts in Facebooks or Twitters. So if they saw these kinds of public shaming, they will be growing up in a very bad environment. So if this is continuing in the future, it will be the same or even be the worst. So you are indirectly we are just creating something. We are creating something bad for the future. We are creating a bad community for the future. So I would like to say that public shaming is not ethical, even though you are just using it as a tool of justice.
I would like to add on to. I strongly agree with you that even though it's used for justice, like let's say in the case of a criminal or something, let's say a person does something wrong or against the law, maybe it's just once, but you are public shaming so that they wouldn't repeat. But when once they are condemned in that manner, they will eventually be labelled as criminal. So when they are once keep on calling as criminal, it will eventually make them to think and behave like a criminal. This leads to the upcoming of new criminals, even though it's in a very petty issues. So on top of that, I would like to add on in another case. Let's say of politicians. As we can see nowadays, recently in politics, many of our, not only ours but also other countries, they will condemn and public shame the politicians. And they must see that they have a particular medium to go through for them to for the justice and also to voice out. But through the social media, because since other countries are looking at us, it might give a bad review, a bad name for our country, and not only for them, for the country, but also for ourselves. Because and when we are public shaming, we won't be using a very decency manners, right? Like how you say regarding the younger generation will be looking up to us, right? So when they see such comments in a very rude manner or very indecent languages, so this will affect the environment and also the upcoming generations. So it is true that public shaming is unethical.
Okay, I would like to add something too. Okay, when public shaming happen, there's some what we call keyboard warrior, right?
Yeah.
They keep commenting things that as we read, it's something like why these people keep judging, why these people keep criticizing, but they don't know the actual thing happens. So the community that we build is every single thing that we see, every single thing that goes viral happen to be negative thing. So basically, the public shaming as a form of justice on social networking is unethical. So
Yes, I agree with you. And then I would like to add on that who are we to do public shaming, right?
Yeah.
Like whatever the person do, it's not our job. That like if we want to do public shaming, then why are there courts and laws are for, right? That's the thing.
So is there anything else?
Oh, I also think that public shaming is unnecessary and unethical because, like Tracy said, that the other country will observe and look the public shaming that we do, so it might give the opportunity for them to attack or find our
Reasons to
reason to you know,
like take over our country.
Find
the leaking part and
To
find our
disgrace our country.
yes.
I'd like to add on, like when other countries see the citizens of particular country behaving like this, when we want to continue our studies in overseas, also the opportunity will become lesser and lesser.
Yeah.
They might think we are very unethical, don't have disciplines and so on.
Yeah.
Narrow-minded and all.
So we come to our conclusion that public shaming as a form of justice on social networking is unethical. So thank you for giving the opinion from all of you.
Thank you.